So, everybody's feeling good, right? We're all feeling happy about the way the world is right now. Is that correct?
I've never been better, dude.
Yeah, I've never been
well,
better.
yeah.
Never been better. Yeah, I think we
Never
won.
been
I think we
better.
won. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we won.
Congratulations, it's over. We
Yeah,
won.
the human experiment's over. We're good. We survived it. Nonetheless.
From the 5 to the 6, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. I need food for the kids, money for the rent. Fuck a lockdown, baby, I can't do that shit. And I don't never vote, cause I'm fucking broke. And either way, I know the police ain't gon' leave me alone. On a plane by the visit Glen Rock, need crypto told me I should bring the Glock with me. So I packed up my piece and I'm sliding. Cause we might get caught up in a riot. Middle finger Trump, middle finger Biden. Fuck a left, fuck a right, is you riding? Know you love to see it, dudes rocking. Ain't no politics, baby, we just talking. From the birds to the bricks, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. Who you with?
We have Alex G back for the third time. This is tied for the league lead in RareCandy appearances. She's tied with Egg God and Serena. Wow. Yeah, illustrious. Mm-hmm. I'd say so.
Yeah.
And don't tell him, but you know.
You're on hallowed ground now. Yeah, you're in an elite status. Yeah,
but anyways, so you're back. This piece in Tablet Magazine? Let's talk about that first. You're with the big time now. The big time, big publications. Like what? So it was basically about the effect of COVID and why we're still in it, correct? Like why things are going on, the profit motives and all that. And if you want to expand on that.
Yeah, so the piece is called The War on Reality, and that pretty much sums it up. Basically, everything that's happened the past 16 plus months has been based on a lot of fabrications and lies. And instead of having any kind of corrective measure, if models were wrong or predictions were wrong, or if people were hurt by those incorrect predictions, our expert class has just continued to double down and double down and double down. And politicians have done the same thing. And it's always the people's fault if the policies don't work, not anything wrong with the policy. And of course, the end result has been that a few people have benefited immensely while most people have had their lives ruined or negatively affected.
Yeah.
You guys got to read that article. It's so good. It's like that's a sender. If someone's like, "Hey, what do you think about COVID?" You're just like, "Boop," just one link.
Thank you.
Which is exactly how your tweets are. You see an Alex G tweet, and you're just like, you don't even finish it. You're like, "Boop, I retweeted it." And and it's just. It's
not
so succinct. Long. You got
exactly. Actually, I think people figured that out now. That's the problem. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe a couple more and then it's over.
I know. I was looking at your time. I was looking for the piece, and this is your pin tweet. But then below it, there's one that just says this one broke the rules, and you can't. It wasn't the tweet. It wasn't anything. It just said this violated the rules. You may not. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Do you? I was meaning like, I see some people, people that I wouldn't expect kind of getting mad at you on Twitter, but do you get like angry DMs? Like, do you get people like, what the hell are you talking about?
No, because my DMs are closed.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, so
are they? Yeah. But yeah, you're saying just not anybody can.
Yeah, just like you. So people that I follow.
Just illustrious company. Yeah.
Or who follow. I guess it must be people I follow can DM me, but not just anybody. I wouldn't dare to open them.
I was gonna say it's got to be bad. Like it's got to be bad. No, I because it's weird talking about this stuff. Like I like have to mix in like funny stuff with like COVID sometimes to let people know, like, because they like the people are like, dude, this is all you care about, man. Like this is like all, like I see people saying that. It's like you talk about this. I search your timelines. You talk about constantly. It's like, what the fuck else is going on, dude? Like, you gonna talk about
weird.
The genocides overseas? Like I'm sorry, this shit's going on here.
It's like the most important thing that's like ever happened in our lifetimes. I feel, and most people are sleepwalking through it.
Yeah, I mean, even if it ended tomorrow, I feel like it would just haunt the next 10 years anyway.
Hell yeah.
Even if they were like, never mind.
done, guys.
That'd be sick, dude. That'd be such a cool timeline.
That's how Biden would do it. He'd go,
yeah.
Never mind.
He's
done.
What's COVID?
Oh
yeah, I don't like this anymore either, guys. Let's just go back. Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about during this episode just what what behind the hood, what your theories are on what's going on. Did this thing just get out of control? We know there's several people pulling levers and different elites and stuff, but the media thing took off. But were they planning on it being like this for this long? I know some people were, and probably some people weren't. And there's like the good faith actors that just have it wrong, basically, and the true believers and stuff. But I don't know. Where you guys stand on that right now? I've been meaning to ask you guys. In terms of like, do you really think they were sitting in the back room being like, yeah, masks 2022 preschoolers, let's go? Or is that something that just kind of fucking fizzled into existence? I don't know.
Alex, go ahead.
I mean, that's like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's the question. Why is this happening? And that's what we're trying to figure out. I would say if I had to summarize, I'd probably say there were agendas already existing before COVID, and I'm not sure whether those agendas came into play immediately or whether it was 2 weeks in or what. And I think it would be difficult for me to say at this point I have proof of XYZ agenda being from the beginning. I think there's other people who are better at investigating that and who have done good work on looking at those things, especially with regard to the pandemic planning simulations that they did, like Event 201 and stuff like.
God.
What?
No, I'm thinking about that now. Like, yes, of course.
And what about did you guys see the Netflix, the pandemic Netflix documentary that dropped in like fall 2019, and it's featuring Bill Gates? And I watched that with my girlfriend, and we were both just like, this is weird. Like, obviously it's propaganda, but it's just over the top, and it's so specific.
Well, I mean, that's how you know it's made in a lab. I mean, that confirms a lab. I mean, I don't even care much about the origin anymore, but the only time I get mad about the origin is when somebody's like, nah, it was bats. And you're just like, stop it. Like, it's clearly not. Like, it wasn't some like guy like in a mine shaft just going like, dude, guys, something's coming. It wasn't like that. But I think this was always meant to be a vaccine booster program. That's why it's going on so long.
So many pieces fit together.
I knew it was never going to just be 2 shots, 1 shot, whatever one people got, but I knew it was always going to be a booster program because pharmaceutical companies double, triple, quadruple back every single time. That's what they do. They don't create one time like, hey, let's just take the money and run. Like, no, they're like, you're now a slave to us, and we basically can control your life. And I know the minute I was weird. Like, I was never even like Cy has a vaccine, anti-vax type history, and I've always been kind of agnostic on it. And I was always like, why do people care that much if somebody doesn't have it? That was always kind of my take. But I knew the minute this happened, even when I was scared of it, I was like, well, I'm not going to fucking take that, like I'm not going to take that shot. And it always felt like it seems like everything right now could be like traced to like some kind of pharmaceutical company, but like definitely this is definitely. Look at all the people that own stock in Pfizer, like BlackRock, and like Cy, you shared that thing where it was like BlackRock, Charles Schwab, all these like crazy companies that owned, I won't say sizable, but like decent amount of stock in Pfizer. And I'd love to know when they bought in on it, but it's just it just makes too much sense. Like, I don't know if it was ever planned, if it was released intentionally, but like this was ready to go, and we had the adequate technology, like what we're talking on right now, Zoom. This didn't exist during the swine flu. We couldn't have done it then. The lockdown schools, we couldn't have done that. So like, why is it's just too perfect of a storm for me.
I agree. I mean, I think that the specifics may be ironed out as they go along, but definitely the desire and the planning to shift trillions of dollars away from workers to private companies was being worked on for a long time. And with the specific kind of war on disease element has probably been in motion. Also for a long time.
Yeah.
Easily. I mean, they had the gain of function lab itself is proof of that. That it was always, why would you have that lab if it wasn't a war on disease, or not even that, like a war with disease where you're creating bioweapons, not so much to use on your own people, which I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you want to be. I always thought of it as like a Cold War situation where it's like the U.S. wants to have, like, we had Dr. Jonathan Latham talking about creating an anthrax vaccine in like 2019.
Yeah.
Like, when was the last time you heard about anthrax? You know, like, but they want,
that was proven that they released that too. That's the you know what I mean? So that's not even a conspiracy
well, even then,
anymore.
You don't want China to be the first. You don't want China or Russia or whoever, insert enemy here, whatever your ideological enemy is, to get that thing first. You know, and it does seem like somewhat of an arms race. And like there's too much stuff. Too much stuff like aligns, because like I should have debunked myself after a while, because I'm fine with doing that. I'm fine with being wrong. I actually hate being right, honestly, about all this stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm not alone here. Like, I'm ready for this to be like, nope, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, it's
yeah.
That's
a good way to put it.
I don't know. Gosh, what was I gonna say? But yeah, let's pivot to the New York right now. New York is essentially mandating vaccinations, and now by mandating, I don't, left and liberals think mandated. It's not mandating. You don't get to do anything until you get it, and it's like that's how you mandate things in America, is you withhold essential services. And then, like, America, like, that's the way America's gotten around fascism for the longest time. I don't think we're a fascist country to our own people. I think we're different story to what we do outside the country, but like, I don't think we're a fascist country to our own people, but we do it in like a roundabout way where like you're either in or you're out, and you can opt in. And most people don't know the adverse effects of the vaccine, or choose not to hear about them. But it's a simple thing. They go, hey, just get your shot. You know what I mean? And you're good. And basically, so New York is restricting, I think it's gyms, restaurants, pretty much any
entertainment.
So almost anything indoors. I mean, there's no way that doesn't end up becoming supermarkets, by the way, either. There's no way that doesn't become
like food, like literal food.
Yeah. They're going to mirror what France is trying to do, but we have more cooperation than France does. So
did you guys see the thing about, they released, someone asked them at the press conference or whatever, they're like, okay, so restaurants, you can't go in without a vaccine, but what about kids that can't get vaccinated? And their answer was literally like, oh, we haven't thought of that yet. Like, we'll get back to you tomorrow.
Fuck them kids. Yeah.
That's what makes it seem like they get these orders from on high. And
who are they? Who are these? Like,
and
who elected this? Yeah, it's crazy.
It's the same playbook everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we might do vaccine passports. And then a couple months later, oh, okay, we're doing vaccine passports.
Yeah.
And then they don't have a plan for it. They don't understand how they're going to enforce it or who's going to do it. They're putting all the service workers in a crazy position. And they don't really have the apps adequately developed. At least now. So there's like a arms race of if they can get the infrastructure ready while people will consent to it.
Right.
But it's almost like there's a disconnect between what they're being told to impose and what they have the system already in place to impose. And it's just going to be a question of, does the timing intersect well enough?
That's a good point. Yeah. And I love it's the meme of people going along with it, that the clown makeup one where the first panel is like, we're not going to do vaccine passports, and the last one's like, this was good all along, you actually want more of it.
Second one is like, okay, fine, but it's not as crazy as you think.
That's like my top 5 right there.
No, but that's always been the leftist thing, like, for the longest time. And I meant to go back before we continue on the New York thing, because Alex is one of the only. I think Alex might have originally red pilled me on the CARES Act, because I was living off the CARES Act for a couple months, so it was tough for me to be red pilled on it. But like, did you see these people, like I think it's Matt Taibbi and a few people that were like still shilling for the CARES Act, like right now? They're just like, yeah, it was awesome, like we need to like do it again.
I don't think it was him.
Was it not Matt Taibbi?
I think it was
I'd be surprised if it was him.
It was definitely Carl Bayer. I hate saying his name on here, but yeah, it was definitely him. But I mean, I think it was
I don't really want to say who, but
that's
yeah,
fine. There's
a
few respected leftists. Yeah,
prominent left media people. Yeah,
a few respected kind of somewhat dissident. Yeah, left. Yeah, gotcha. So a few people they were like kind of still shilling for it, and it's like they want to do that shit again. Like they want to just like they don't even want to go back to normal. They're just like, nah, I want to just sit around while like everything gets taken from.
Yeah,
not even so much them. It's probably not even them that gets things taken from them. It's people beneath them that get stuff taken from them. But that, I mean, the CARES Act essentially was the wealth transfer, no?
Well, it was part of it, but I think the thing that is kind of amazing is that they're almost saying that it's okay that millionaires got these insane tax cuts.
It's just capitalism. That's what they say. Just capitalism.
Yeah. Because it gave some people unemployment that they never should have been on because they should have been able to keep their jobs.
Yeah. It's a false premise.
It's just the whole premise is wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they want to do it again. Yeah. They want to do it again.
I think that's the problem is that they completely refuse to question that premise.
Yeah.
They're starting from that and anything is like a given. For like we had to do this, and it's
exactly.
And the only way to logic out of that is to say, like, we should have just given out more checks, which is like such a baby brain way
print
of
money.
At,
yeah, print money.
Yeah, it's like, come on, like that made sense for like 2 weeks, maybe, or a month, like just give everyone a fuck ton of money for a month. Like, that's still not the best thing to do, but at least we can do it. But then it just became fucking 2 years long, and it's like. It's so obvious. Yeah, imagine shilling for the greatest wealth transfer in history as a leftist. That's just
like retroactively. That's okay, during the time, whatever. Like I get it. I was down to take a couple months off of work because my work was slow. We were hourly, so if I wasn't getting what I needed, that's what I went on. So I mean, it is what it is. But the it's and then you look at what the eviction ban too that's going on. Or I think Biden extended it, if I'm not mistaken. But for a while, like the weirdest part was that the CDC could extend it. That never gets talked about. That the CDC was just like, yeah, we extended the eviction ban. And it's like, wow,
like who?
How can they do that? Like how can they do that? Like,
there's some weird anti-democratic processes.
Yeah,
like, you don't even know who's pulling the strings.
I think it's meant to muddy up the waters, man. Like people don't know what to do. Like again, like it's like what people say. Like at least when you're in a communist dictatorship, you know exactly who to be mad at. You're like, that's that guy. Like it's that. But like, okay, the eviction ban. Yeah, it pits the landlords, and like I'm not a landlord guy. I have one, not a fan, but people are like, that's their number one enemy and not the person that's extracting, trillions of wealth almost like from them. And they're pitting tenants against landlords fighting this war when really the landlords at the end of the day, they're not collecting this money. And this is going to essentially just be BlackRock buying up houses.
Yep.
Like at that point. The landlords are going to go, well, I got nothing. I don't have any money now, and I can't pay the property tax on the rent or whatever it is. I mean, again, it's Crimea River, but still, I'd rather have a landlord than BlackRock buying my property at 20% higher intentionally to just hoard it. Like it's insane.
What's crazy, dude? There's so many houses in my neighborhood are for sale, and actually my landlady is selling, who's super cool and like the best one I've ever had. She's selling too, and it's because you have to in this.
So you're gone or what?
And it's like, I gotta figure something out. Or we all, a couple of us here. But I mean, it's cool. Like there's other stuff mixed, there's like personal shit. But it's like it's just weird that it's weird that there's always personal stuff, but the end result is everyone is selling and BlackRock's buying. It's kind of it's just kind of weird how that works.
And the Fed is creating pathways for BlackRock to buy it because people are like, it's not the Fed, dude. It's not the Fed. The Fed is not allowing to buy it. They're creating pathways. It's like, okay.
So the end result is the same or different.
These people are sick.
Yeah.
And then of course the rents are gonna like be prohibitive for the people who are maybe protected by the eviction ban now, as they should not be evicted, but there should be funds so that maybe the small landlords are not just bought out. But I feel like the rents will be prohibitively higher as a result of the housing moving to like BlackRock and stuff. So
it'll trickle up. Yeah.
And wouldn't a functioning state subsidize it at that point? You know what I mean? In an emergency, like subsidize it and just pay the landlords. Like technically, like I mean, I get obviously huge leftist brain. Why are there landlords? There wouldn't be landlords. I understand, but there are. So in an emergency, you would have the state then subsidizing property, giving the landlords here, we got you covered on the rent. Like these people don't have to pay. They don't have any money. And then you're good. You can still keep your property. And it's like, I think a lot of people aren't, it's like, it's a weird take. I don't know how I want to say it. A lot of people aren't ready for like the housing revolution right now. They literally just want to still have their house, you know, like, so some people are like, I want to like kill my landlord. And it's like, this guy's like, you've owned a house for the last 10 years. Like you read like Lenin, you know, I mean, like it's different, you know, like these people are just like, no, I literally just want to stay in my place. Like, I want to stay here. And, you know, for now they can, but it's Santa Clara County where I'm at is about to start happening. It's not good. It's I don't understand. Like people still cannot see the bigger picture beyond this. But back to New York. Sorry, back to New York. I wanted to make a note to talk about that today. But back to New York. Like I think so. When you look at the vaccination rates by race, and it's like I believe it's like 64% of like white people, at least in these polls, are 2-shot vaccinated, fully vaccinated, Johnson & Johnson or whatever, and it's like 28% black. So if you have black owned businesses, which is what people are claiming that we have right now, you know, all across, hey, we got black entrepreneurs and stuff. And are they going to abide by this? Like, are they going to be like, yeah, I'll just give up my business to cater to 28% of black people who might not shop at the black owned business, you know, like, and I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how you can enforce it. Or is this just a big ploy to just kill all the small businesses again that maybe survived?
With wokeness, it's like a double A. You know, it's like insane. A perfect tool. Yeah.
But that's why I'm think it's possible. Maybe they'll realize that they're excluding 2/3 of their black residents from any venue, basically. And then maybe some woke true believers who genuinely believe and who are not sort of cynical operatives might think that's bad and then revise their position on it.
Yeah.
I feel like that could happen.
I think so too. No, I think so too. And we now, okay, let me play devil's advocate there because I do agree with you. I think that's how it's going to, I hope that's how it ends up going. Like I do. I also think that like those woke people that you think stand up, they fall for the dog tennis ball trick really fast, where like you fake throw a tennis ball and they run all the way into the bushes and you're like, okay, like they're just like, no, vaccinations, like that doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Let's get vaccinated. And like,
but they also love to like take one thing they said was gospel and then change it the next day. And cancel each other, and they love to say, oh really, actually this was racist the whole time. So maybe they'll find that something actually racist and then
like black people can't shop at my store. That's very racist. Black people cannot come to my store.
I mean,
that's essentially what it is. I mean,
the mayor of Boston said that she won't do it because it reminded her of slavery and Jim Crow. Yeah. And she invoked also birtherism about Obama when Trump was asking for his birth certificate and stuff. So she has a very liberal frame of reference that she's like Democrat blue frame of reference that she's using to address this. She's like, to defend Obama, we can't do vaccine passports. So maybe people will find their way there somehow. It's possible.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, okay, like say you own like a brewery, you're like a white guy with a beard in like, you know, Bushwick or something. All of a sudden, like some, you know, black dude's like, I could go for a beer, sure, you know, like he's like, it sounds kind of good. And then he, you know, stumbles in there like, where's your vaccine passport? So he's like, I don't have one. And then viral video cameras come out, right? Cameras come out, because I think that's what we need is cameras coming out. Like we need to do the viral video thing where you know, like maybe this guy, like, oh, you're telling me I can't come into play. Like, you need that kind of thing to happen for this to backfire, because
I hope so. You guys are so hopeful. I am just people are so zombified right now.
Tell me how do you, because that is a very powerful thing right now. Like when somebody you're denied access, how do you think that they overcome that?
I don't know. What I just love is that this is such a perfect crystallization of the wokeness liberal ideology conflicting with what Black people actually want. Or it doesn't have to, it could be any race group in this instance, it's Black, you know, but it's just so funny how, you know, it's like, oh no, you're making the wrong decision, let us make this decision for you, kind of thing. It's just a perfect crystal, like more stark than I've ever seen, more obvious than I've ever seen in my life. And the thing is, we know they're covering up negative side effects of this shit, so it's not like it's, even if it was totally benign, it'd be disgusting. But the fact that this is actually hurting people, and we could get into that, and I know people have different opinions on that type of shit, but it is hurting people. This is hurting. The side effects of this shit are more serious than other vaccines.
Yeah.
And it's just, so this is going to be huge. It's so funny. And I was right. Yeah, we can't, or I'm not a New Yorker, but I heard that they can't recall Bill de Blasio. And, so yeah, it's just this weird, like this check on democracy. We don't know what's going on. I mean, we always knew it was under threat and everything, but yeah, I don't know.
Do we know Eric Adams' take on,
Eric Adams
COVID passport? He just won the what was it? The primary, right? Yeah, he just won the primary. He's ex NYPD, so like he beat like the socialists and the socialist, I should say. Like it didn't really seem like, it just seemed like an AOC
I don't know,
kind of disciple.
And he won all the working class areas.
All the working class.
So it's really embarrassing for the BSA and stuff.
Yeah,
super embarrassing. Same way, like, I mean, not the same way, but like, you know how like Nina Turner just lost to like just a baseline lib. Like it's just a lot of they're taking a lot of L's but anyways, like I don't know if we know Eric Adams' take on that. Like I'm interested, because it's clear with these passports that there's there's almost like I don't want to say secession, but like there's gonna be, like Texas already said we're not doing it. You know what I mean? We're not doing it. That's the Republicans say. It doesn't matter. Libs can be like, okay, Republicans death cult. That's what they say. Like, it's death cult. Florida, right? Even though I don't trust DeSantis, he was shilling for Pfizer the other day. There's certain states now. It'd be interesting to see what the Midwest does. It'll be like an electoral map, I think, like where it's like, oh, let's see if we can get Ohio. You know, let's see if we can get, you know, like Florida already went, like the swing states.
Well, I've never heard it. Or go ahead.
Yeah. What's that?
Oh no, I never heard of this. The Boston mayor you were talking about.
Yeah. I think it was
are they the first example of like a liberal that's against this? Because that's the first I've heard of it. You know, in terms of political.
First I've heard. Yeah,
it's always like either like create like a DeSantis type or something like that. You know.
Yeah, but even like DeSantis, like, actually, this is a good time to pivot to this. So Alex, when I see on Twitter, sometimes like I go through your quote tweets on the big ones, on the ones you go that do numbers. You know, you'll have a tweet. I just like to see who's agreeing with you, like the type of people that'll agree with you. And a lot of them are like bald eagle Avi guys, like, you know what I mean, like Trump guys. They'll just be like, yeah, open the schools, you know, like, and nothing against you. I mean, it is what it is. Like, you know, that happened. I get that too sometimes, but
sunglasses in the truck. Yeah, fucking. Yeah, retweet.
So the right wing was right about COVID. Let's just say that much. They were right. Like I'll say that initially. Do we think that was just by chance that they were right? You know, because we're talking about Eric Adams, like these guys, blue collar, NYPD. They see what happens to the working class, but like, were they just right because they saw libs having the crazy reaction? They're like, well, I have to have the other take, because I don't see it being sustainable right now. Like I've seen these Robbie Soave. There was a guy, like a libertarian guy. His name like Robbie Soave. He's like a YouTube guy, and he was just like, look, man, I'll do the vaccine passport because I just hate wearing a mask. And that's like that's like the libertarian take now, which is like, I'm sorry, beta, like beta. And do you think the right was just like right by chance? And I don't really see that as sustainable, you know, like with them continuing with this.
I think that there's just different parts of the right, and it's a big tent. So, I mean, obviously we had Mitch McConnell say like get the vaccine or there will be another lockdown. But then you have former MAGA people who have been on this correct the entire time. So I don't necessarily think I wouldn't say it's a fluke. I've heard arguments that people will make that, oh, it could have been the liberals who were smart about COVID, and it could have been the right that was more authoritarian. But I think that the demographics of the people who supported Trump a lot in certain parts of the country positioned them to have more skeptical views about what was coming down. First of all, because from their experience with Trump, they're really skeptical about the media, way more skeptical, it turned out, than Bernie people.
Yeah.
And they're also just very skeptical about the way it was positioned to always make Trump look bad.
Right.
And I think also they had skepticism about China. So I think it kind of was going to end up that part of the right would have more dissident views about COVID. At the same time, I think someone like DeSantis might have gotten lucky in terms of the political operatives, not the regular supporters.
Interesting. I mean, personally, with DeSantis, I just think that Pfizer direct deposit hit. I'll say it.
It is hard.
Because he said these vaccines are magic. I mean, he's like, they're magic. They're great. You got to get them.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
He was.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I think, I appreciate what DeSantis has done in terms of making anti-lockdown positions legitimate.
There's one guy that stood up to it. Even Trump wasn't going against it.
Yeah. So I'm not making them legitimate. I mean, but being a public figure, a prominent politician who just said, no, this is not the right thing to do, and we should do focus protection. That's much better. So I think that I appreciate him for doing that. I would just say it's important to remember that when he was running for governor, they called him the billionaire whisperer because he got tons and tons of money from people like, I think, the Kochs, like Mercer's, Adelson, Marcus. I think all those names are correct, but maybe one might be not correct. But anyways, he did get a lot of money from them. So I wouldn't say he's a populist or economic.
No.
He's
not Huey Long.
Well, it's just weird how when you're pigeonholed into, there's no one that's like got an anti-lockdown stance, and this one guy who may be shady in a lot of different ways is like the guy championing it, and it's like I do see a lot of like ex-Dems for DeSantis. I'm like, okay, like I get it,
Yeah, I completely get it.
Yeah, for sure.
He'll let you go outside.
The conservative COVID,
I mean, it's like damage control.
That's my harm reduction in 2024.
Yeah.
I just spent the last 10 minutes here talking shit about him. If it's DeSantis and Harris in 2024 and my harm reduction vote is, can I go outside without somebody asking me for my papers?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's without, I don't care about anything else. I don't care about.
I don't think if it's anyone versus Harris, I think that's enough to.
We're there. Yeah.
I feel that.
There was a clip going around last week or something of him saying we can't have any more lockdowns, no more mask mandates, no more school closures, and he was at this podium that said ALEC on it, which is the Koch brothers think tank. So I think what he really shows is that there are certain sectors of the economy that really don't want this to be happening, and he's not necessarily acting the way he's acting purely because he's beholden to his constituents, but it's also because of those very wealthy people who might not be benefited by the new economic system that benefits industries like tech,
absolutely,
etc.
Not every elite is fucking Bill Gates. You know what I mean? It's like what James Corbett says. It's the real thing that's going on is that it's just human nature. There's all these competing factions. Yes, there's an extreme neoliberal order that is just hyper focused on this techno-fascism thing, but not everyone is like that, even at the higher levels.
Yeah, and, so I think that there's a war at the top that we don't see between, different industries. And also right now there's a war like between the CDC and the Biden administration about the messaging that they're putting out about the vaccine. So I think that's something also just if something to be hopeful about is that, you can look at it in a bad way, but you could also look at it that there's conflict at the top and that
there's some bonehead
their messaging
moves.
is falling apart. It's for a lot of people. For some people, they're just going to believe forever no matter what. But I think that they've lost some support from people who supported the first lockdowns because their messaging has been so insane and conflicting for the past couple of weeks.
Sure. Especially as the vaccines as a promise to freedom, which most people thought they're like, people who want the vaccine will get it, will open up, and it'll just go from there, just like everything else has happened for the rest of history. And that didn't happen. And most people, like Glenn Greenwald, right, who's like, "I'll get the vaccine," but like, what the fuck is going? Now we're still not happening. So I think there's a lot of people like that. What do you think about? What do you think about? Unless you guys had something else, but
no, please.
What about the parents and kids right now and the school front? Your wheelhouse. What the fuck is going on with this shit right now? What's the latest and the greatest?
Well, I think the battle. I think people are nervous that they'll close because of sometimes it seems like from certain contracts in certain districts with the teachers unions that they have language that might suggest possible closure, but I don't think there's really any plan in motion to not stay open. So the battle is really about masks now for parents. And it varies by region. At least for the moment, the battle is about masks. I don't know what's going to happen in the fall, and it varies by region, whether kids will be required to wear masks in schools.
Absolutely insane that is the battleground right now, is kids wearing masks.
Yeah, and I think another thing that is very concerning is that when the vaccine is approved for kids, what will
mandates.
And different rules for different kids.
Is the mask a rehearsal for this?
Johnson and Johnson kids cannot go on the swings with Pfizer kids.
A lot of they are doing pop-up clinics on school campuses for them to get vaccinated if they're 12 and up.
Yeah, with like military there and shit. Yeah,
they do health screenings in a lot of districts that people are not necessarily aware of. There was a lot of noise about LA's QR code thing. LAUSD they had their little creepy Microsoft ads for these QR code passes would get updated based on their health status, and they'd have to scan into school. But it's not just LA. A lot of districts, especially in this area, as in California or blue areas, are doing health screenings when kids come to school, where you get asked, do you have COVID-19, blah, 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 or you can fill it out on an app before you go to school. And I think that this is also a concern, because if there are requirements for them to be vaccinated, is that going to be part of their health screening? Mm-hmm. And then also, why are we training them to have an internal barrier for entry everywhere they go?
Yeah. And boosters is the latest. Yeah. If you got 2 in the beginning, are you still good after 6 months?
That's the thing with the mandates I don't understand. So that's thank you for bringing that up, because besides kids and stuff, like just in general, right? Say the New York thing, not everyone got vaccinated at the same time. So when the booster rolls out now, I just saw CDC suspended the booster shots or something because of something. I can't remember. They put a halt to like booster shots, the Pfizer booster, which is another sign that maybe not everything's working as planned. That I kind of like to see that maybe
that Israel data is crazy. It's like,
what's the Israel data? Talk about it.
Just the extreme weight, and the thing, this whole fucking Delta thing is a psyop, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's not real.
It's a cope.
It's not. They're saying they had that ready to go, and they even named it something different in the beginning. It was the Indian variant, remember?
Mm-hmm.
But
the China virus and the Indian variant.
I know, yeah. No, they were cool with that one, and
they did this variant thing last summer too.
Yeah, they did.
They prime you, and then they bring it back.
Yeah, and it's crazy because they, like, a lot of us predicted, and the pharma companies know okay, remember before this when the scientists were like, we've never been able to vaccinate for coronavirus, and then all of a sudden we have one in 6 months. They know that it wasn't going to work the way that there's these effects would be waning, which is the big thing. And the thing is like this whole cope that like Delta is created by the unvaccinated, it's driving evolution or whatever, very well might be unvaccinated or vaccinated driven. That's besides the point. The point is it was already here before that, and the waning effects are irrespective of that. And so anyway, the Israel thing is just showing that like, I don't know what, I don't know. I don't get, you would think that since like Israel is basically like the US, I don't know why they're being honest about their data that shows the vaccine in a bad light. Like I'm on like 5 dimensions of chess deep right now of like, wait, is this like a secret like double agent kind of thing?
I think they just want just wanted to do lockdowns and masks, so that's why they'll say, well, like if the vaccine doesn't work and you need more boosters, then
they probably gave Palestinian vaccines and they were like, they don't work. But,
that's
it's like a side-by-side. It's like Israel says vaccines don't work, and then the next one is like Israel donates 20 million doses to Palestine.
Here's our AstraZeneca, our belly flop jelly bellies that you guys can have.
Solving vaccine apartheid. But that's the end goal everywhere is masks and lockdowns and vaccine boosters and vaccine passports. It's not one or the other. That's the perfect thing.
And we all fight about it forever.
And so like everyone seems to think we can do masks or we can do vaccines or something, or we could do lockdown. If they want it all, then they're gonna figure out a way in some places like Israel, if people are very compliant, to potentially get it all at the same time, even though it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to make any sense.
And don't you hate when you see 2 people fighting over 2 things that you didn't even get? Like they're like, I'm a mask guy, we still need to wear masks, and one guy's like, dude, I'm vaccinated, so like I don't give a fuck, and you're just like, I'm neither.
I've been doing none of what you're doing.
What you're the Giga Chad on the computer meme, you're just like, neither, sorry. And that's always
and that this is all taking like, did you see the graph CRK posted of this is all taking case under if you zoom out, the cases and deaths are like, they're just not there. It's not there. This thing is over. It's like, it's fucking over.
And they don't need to be there.
I know, it's crazy.
Like
they don't.
Well, and you see the leftists, like it's always the leftists. Maybe that's just my Twitter feed, but like I'll see people going like, cases do not equal deaths. We need to open up again. And I'm just like, hey, I said that last year, and they're like, it was bad last year. They'll tell you that to you. It's like, no.
Or like, the NFL, how like no one died last year at the peak, and this year it's like 100 times better, but the rules are 100 times stronger.
And exactly. And you still have breakthrough cases amongst a 90% vaccinated league. And it's like, it's insane. And so but
no, the people who are now saying, oh, we shouldn't do this is bad, they made it possible for us to get to this point. And they just have no awareness of that whatsoever. So it is really painful for them. I'm sorry, it is really painful to watch them be like, but cases don't mean anything.
Because that was the whole sham all along.
Because they manufactured consent for this the entire time, and then you have certain like media figures now who are like, oh, I don't know about this doesn't seem wise.
I know.
Or whatever. At least, I mean, you could say, oh, at least they're coming around, but
no, they're not.
I don't know. It's kind of like it's a little bit too late. It's like because in this phase they don't need people to believe in it in the same way they needed people to believe in the first phase. I don't think so.
Did you guys see Slothrop's Gnocchi Wizard post that video? The NYU professor, I forget his name, but he's the professor of propaganda at NYU.
Mark Crispin Miller.
Yeah.
That was homework for the show, actually.
Oh, really? That word? Yeah. But I think if you type into YouTube, for anyone that's listening, 2020 a masterclass in propaganda, right? That shit was so based. I was just like on fire listening to that. I was really like, good. This is so fucking. And it reminded me of all this shit that I'd totally forgotten about, like the people collapsing in the streets in China. Like that's why we locked down, was because and it's like no one collapses in the street from COVID.
What were those videos? I'm wondering, like, were
bullshit,
they false flags, or was it like, hey, this guy had an aneurysm? Let's say that's COVID. Like, you know, like because I'm wondering, like maybe that guy actually died, and you're like that was my uncle. Like, yeah, like COVID death. Like,
yeah, dude, so crazy.
It's for the good of the CCP. You'll understand.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's that was a great thing, and I just wanted to pivot to the left here because. And not libs. I understand some people think that libs are the left, but I think in this case,
can you hold that? I just have to ask you.
What's that?
Is that the Tanzania bro behind you?
This is John. I'm getting to that. So
okay,
yeah,
all right. Never mind. Didn't mean
this
to.
is John Magafuli behind me. Rest in peace to
king,
our fallen God. Yeah. No,
he's like our Hail Selassie ironic COVID. Like
this is not a Chapo bit. Yeah, this is not a Chapo bit. Like this, I actually really like this guy. And so we're getting to that.
Yeah.
Alex and I were talking a while back, and she brought it up, and I hadn't really like parsed them all together, even though I kind of thought they were all. Anytime a world leader dies somewhere, I'm like, oh, we did it. You know, it's usually it's a safe bet. It's a safe bet. You know, like Gaddafi was. Gaddafi had an awesome quote about like how they're going to use pandemics to like.
I know.
Yeah, it was like, and then like 2 days later, they were like, sorry,
Gaddafi. It was Gaddafi and that Jim bro nailed it. And like, you know,
did you see the thing of Waka Flocka Flame messaging XXX Tentacion or whatever the guy that died? He messaged him like 2 days before he died. The XXX guy. He messaged him. He's like, bro, you got to read this book, the book from Gaddafi. Like he like sent him the zip file in a text message. He's like, bro, I'm trying to help you so bad, and it didn't work, but nonetheless,
holy shit.
Anytime these guys die, I'm like, okay, you know, we're here somehow, and and I don't hear anything from the JFK conspiracy left or the
anti-imperialist left.
Exactly, anti-imperialist left, but the left has a statute of limitations for like conspiracy of takes and conspiracies. I've come to realize that it's like
that's a great analogy.
It's like, okay, now after BlackRock's got all the housing in the United States, let's talk about COVID being a psyop.
Like, straight up, dude.
Anyways, leaders
oh my god, in 20 years.
No, I'm joking. Like we talked.
It might be sooner, but
Glenn, about how like we have friends and family. I'm like, in 5 years we're gonna get that text. Be like, holy shit, did you like know about this? Yeah.
Did you watch the Netflix documentary about COVID 2020?
And I'm like, why isn't anyone talking about this?
And no, Trump did the whole conspiracy. You wouldn't believe it. Yeah, he was involved in everything.
Not the hijack, but I will say though that Felix thread on like the most mild take of critiquing wearing a mask in gyms. He's like, this shit is bullshit, which he wouldn't have. Like for some reason, he's able to say it now. And even
he's vaccinated because he's vaccinated. It's a vaccine trust thing. He's like, it's okay. 6 months ago, he'd be like, I wear 7 masks at the gym and I could still deadlift. You're a pussy if you can't. That's like what he would say. And now he's like, he literally said, suck my fucking dick. I won't wear a mask at the gym. And it's like, okay, here's the thing, dude. Like, you already gave up your leverage by getting the vaccine. And I don't want to hate on people who got the vaccine, because we have people who listen to the show and I think they tune out some of the vaccine episodes because they're probably like, dude, I got it. So what, you know?
Yeah, you know what? It's your choice.
It's your choice. You want. Choice.
But somebody like that's talking, it's like, you gave up your leverage and you'll get the booster. Like he will go get the booster.
But the thing is, okay, it's your choice to get a vaccine. It's your choice to get a booster. What I think would be more of a like thing that they should do and that we could ask people to not do is, if you're vaccinated, please don't download the COVID Pass app. Please don't go to places that are
my
not
dick
letting
download app. Fucking sucks.
Unvaccinated people in. Like, please don't do that.
Don't
because
play along.
Eventually they're going to be requiring you to do something that you really don't want to do to maintain your access.
Look more than 40 feet ahead of your own.
And exactly. It's just your own choice about what you want to put in your body. That's completely fine, but it really will have an impact if both vaccinated and unvaccinated people refuse to participate in their like Nazi little world they're making. I mean, people need to say no to that. So Felix, if you're listening, please don't download the COVID Pass app.
You could say the N word. You could say the N word on here. It's fine. Nazi's fine.
No, the Biden clip, the Nazi fat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, but no. Draw a line in the sand. Like you draw a line in the sand somewhere.
Yeah, go enjoy your booster, but please don't.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. I think of these people who like, okay, I know some people like truly don't give a shit if like I'm unvaccinated around them, because I am around some people and like I've told them and they don't care. Even some of my coworkers who are like super lib and stuff, like they don't care. So I'm like, can you really pretend it's the meme where like the dog's in the house and they're like, this is fine and it's on fire? Like do you really like want to show that shit everywhere? You know what I mean?
It'll get old.
I'm saying like that. There's no way. Like that's every single time you think you're back to normal and you have to do that, you're not back to normal.
Yeah, it's anything but normal. It's like completely different from the world that we used to live in.
I ever love people are like, it's just like a flu booster. It's like, I haven't gotten that in fucking 27 years.
Literally never.
You'd never be called an anti-vaxxer for not getting a flu shot.
Yeah. I don't shop at Walgreens. Sorry. Yeah, that's what you would do. That's what you call it.
Even Vax Bros hate on the flu shot. They're just
because it's dumb.
Like, fucking,
a lot of people do not trust the flu shot to get all their other immunizations.
Maybe because the side effect is the flu. Yeah. But anyways,
because there's no evidence that it's that effective.
That's fine. Just get it. Get it and then complain to the gym that you go to. But anyways, so that was a long tangent. I want to get back to my world leaders here. We haven't really talked about this in depth. We talked about John Magufuli a little bit because John Magufuli didn't want vaccines, didn't want lockdowns, didn't want anything. He was the prime minister of Tanzania, prime minister of Uganda. I believe he's still around, but he was
prime minister of both.
No. I'm talking. Then I'm pretty sure they were politically aligned. These two guys. He was the one testing fruit, and he was like, "Hey, this Blackberry tested positive for COVID. Should I lock it down?" He was like doing that, which is an incredible bit. And so who did we lose in the last couple? We lost John behind me from Tanzania. Haiti was interesting. I didn't know about Haiti when it first happened. I didn't understand that guy didn't really want vaccinations over there.
Yeah, only country in the Western Hemisphere without a vaccine program.
Whoa.
Yeah, a country that's been ravaged by
the
West.
And then has like a professional team, like a professional assassination team coming in.
Like some Navy SEAL shit. Yeah, exactly.
And we lost there was another guy. I thought that
and then his replacement immediately set up a deal with Pfizer.
Yeah. And Tanzania, they replaced him with a woman, and she got the vaccination live on CNN.
Yeah.
Like on stage. It was like a public gathering, which, whatever. But like she's like gets it live on. She's like, I'm in, like thumbs up, and it's like
the guy proving that
they're solving the vaccine apartheid. So
Yep.
Yeah.
You know who might be a potential next is Mexico, bro.
What's going on with him?
He came out, he was like, we will not vaccinate the kids. They will not be part of this like evil experiment. He was dropping bars, and I'm like, RIP, like sorry, dude. Yeah,
straight up. He also like because he also said
he's like
he also said lockdowns are a tactic of dictators.
Yep. And Mexico, there's two, I guess, from what I understand, there's two dueling health agencies in Mexico. Like, we don't really have a corollary in America because they're all on the same page. But one of them, and I'm not trying, we don't have to go down this rabbit hole, but one of them was like, give ivermectin to everyone. The other one was like, nope, it's fake, it's bullshit. And Mexico was definitely one of the biggest Western countries to do the ivermectin program, and it arguably worked really well for them in terms of like, test and trace, stay home, take ivermectin on the first symptoms, get to really get rid of the hospital stuff. Regardless of however you feel about that, it went against the censorship program going on in America, right? Which is very obvious and clear. But yeah. So he might be next.
So that's a called shot. You're Babe Ruth pointing at center field right now. But the left silent. The Truanons, these people like just silent on these world leaders dying on vaccinations. Even Glenn Greenwald, Alex, you and I have talked about it, and we talked about it on the show. Like Glenn Greenwald completely botched the Brazil vaccination thing, talking about how he didn't mention that Brazil wanted collateral, military bases, banks.
Bolsonaro got in his head. Is that what do you guys?
Yeah, I mean, he probably did. He turned into a Trump. He turned into a Trump derangement guy for Bolsonaro, basically, where he couldn't probably process that. But he's also a big vax guy. I mean, it just is what it is. Like,
yeah.
So these people, like, so where is this? I mean, is this another statute of limitations thing where, like, 20 years from now, like, you know, you'll see a Sean McCarthy thread about how these guys got killed, or is this going to be like? I don't know. Why can't we react to this now? World leaders are dying. They always talk about Bolivia, right? Which rightfully so. That was bullshit. You know what I mean? Like the Bolivian coup.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you see things like Chile is doing mandatory boosters right now. Remember our buddy Sai, our buddy inside the Vax Bro in Chile. I tagged him in it today because they're giving AstraZeneca as the booster, mixing vaccines. If you had the Sinovac, you get.
He's starting to wake up, I think.
Yeah. How would the people think that would make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't even mix. I don't even mix liquor. Like if I'm drinking one liquor, we're staying with that one all night. I'm totally different. Yeah.
I guess to give people the benefit of the doubt, I think it seems like, to me, I don't see how you can't see that they're doing imperialism through the war on disease thing and vaccine campaign. But whatever. To give people benefit of the doubt, I would just say that they made the issue of vaccines unquestionable, and people are too worried that their reputation would be more on the line if they were seen as anti-vaccine. So the easiest thing is to just not go there. Because that, more than anything, is at the center. You can say like lockdowns are bad. You could even say, I don't want to wear the mask at the gym now, but
but the vaccines are
I'm not doing QR codes ever, bro. Yeah.
You can't say, I think that the insane amounts of money that people are making off of this vaccine is illegitimate.
Yeah. And a lot of red pill doctors find that out the hard way, in particular that
the ones that want you to change theme songs, or the
exactly.
Understood.
Yeah. I'm glad we brought that up. Yeah, but the fucking
brought what up? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. Yeah, no, just this is more specific and it predates COVID. But the whole, there are a lot of trash medicines that have bad side effects, but we're always allowed to admit that if they're medicines as a doctors, you know. But for some reason, you're never allowed to admit that a vaccine ever has it. They're like some sacred, holy ground. And, you know, a lot of people, for some reason, it's just.
Well, because they'll kill you if you're a prime minister of a country and you don't want it. I mean, it's clearly.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and it just really illustrates how they can prime people. They can prime us our whole lives to be afraid to question certain things.
Yeah.
And then you can use that concept to control your views on everything else.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think that's why people should look at it more. I mean, I also think that when if you talk to people who are really into both the COVID vaccine and then the idea of vaccination in general, a lot of their views on it are like just slogans. They're not based on like, oh, I looked at the data and it shows this, or, you know. And I think that puts people in a really dangerous position, because then you're always going to be primed to only think about an issue in terms of the slogans that you've been told and memorized your whole life, that are like these comforting phrases to you, like
there's
and not ask more questions about it.
Well,
and I think
that's a great way to put it. Vaccines are safe and effective.
Why not?
The COVID vaccine is safe and effective.
Fuck. God, I hate that. Like, I hate that. Well, also too, like, do you wonder if, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like, do you wonder if maybe like, even if they knew the full story, like what if like the US came out and just was like, hey, we killed John Magufuli in Tanzania because he did not want vaccinations at all and he wanted all his people to die. Like, do you think maybe the leftists would be like, cool? I wonder.
I think that they would be like, I think that they would say that it was the wrong I don't know, wrong thing for the right reasons.
It's not how I would have done it, but you know.
Yeah. I don't know, some
no, for real.
roundabout.
Certainly our words, yeah. But yeah.
Well, what's crazy about John is, I mean, the vaccines thing, that's one thing, and that's for sure. I'm not saying, well, it's the obvious part of it, but the thing that everyone in our circle understands, but I still think is overlooked and underrepresented, under talked about, is just the fact that testing the fruit, the cases, the fucking piece, everything rests on the cases and the bullshit numbers that they created with this thing, right? And the numerator, right? The numerator of how many people have COVID.
Blackberries got hit really hard last summer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pawpaws, yeah.
Organic ones too. Yeah.
Papayas and such. Yeah. But but it's just the fact that he was drilling in on the cases, like being like, this is like the linchpin where this whole thing is bullshit. I think that's under discussed, that this whole thing rests on PCR bullshit. And Carrie Mullis, the inventor of PCR tests, right? Who conveniently died in 2019 and a half, right? And Nobel Prize winner, inventor of PCR tests, on record for saying this is bullshit. You can't use this to validate someone being infected or not. And has that video where he's just dropping straight bars on Fauci, where he's like, fuck this dude, this fucking, you know what I mean? That's another fucking
clown. If he ever uses my test, I'll disavow it. And they're like,
yeah. So it's like, man, so that goes back to what we started this episode with. That's just another piece of the puzzle. They did have this thing pre-planned, man. They had the people. They're like, all right, we got to take out Carrie Mullis. We got to take out Tanzania, bro. They got to make the list. They got the short list, dude.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it. Yeah, I cannot wait for 20 years from now for the 7-part Patreon podcast series that comes out from a certain podcast on that. Okay, last question of the night. Alex has an answer prepared because I've been talking about this for a while. This is about Medicare for all. So, so let me preface this. Leftists think I think the reason that they truly don't understand vaccine hesitancy. They love vaccines, but like I think the reason that they truly don't understand it, because I think they think this is Medicare for all, right? I think that's one. They think that, okay, it's a subsidized thing. We paid for this vaccine. We paid for it. It's free. You can go to CVS and get a vaccine if you want. Like, you can. I could go tomorrow if I decided to change my mind after this episode or something. I could just go get a vaccine. They think this is Medicare for all. Now, if Medicare for all comes with mandated vaccinations, are you red-pilled on Medicare for all?
Well, I feel like the whole premise, the spirit of Medicare for all was that everyone should have access to quality healthcare and
regardless of anything.
What?
Regardless of anything. No.
Yeah, it wasn't like everyone should have forced medical procedures.
But people are dying. What do we do? People are dying. What do we do?
Everyone should have a forced medical procedure that I don't even understand and haven't looked at any of the data about. Regardless of the situation. That was not the premise of Medicare for all. So I think that also the spirit of it was that we have private insurance companies that are making huge amounts of money off of the pain and suffering of American citizens. We have pharmaceutical companies that are making enormous amounts of money off of the pain and suffering of citizens. Mm-hmm. And this is a proposal that will undercut their profits. So for it to be equated now with what we're seeing, where Pfizer's making $34 something billion off of this, Moderna has $100 billion valuation. 40 people became billionaires off of all of this. That's not really what we were talking about when we were talking about Medicare for all.
Yeah,
it's not.
I don't know. Is it? I'm wondering. Like, I agree with you, Alex.
I think the only thing that it maybe would red pill me on was the fact that health is not just from the a visit to the doctor's office,
Right.
but health is also, so it, besides having access to universal health care, people also need things in their life that provide them with good health besides that. So I mean, good food, no pollution, things like that, there needs to be addressed, because the number one, the biggest risk factors for COVID besides age were all non-communicable diseases like heart disease and diabetes and hypertension and stuff. So those things are not necessarily things that are only addressed by going to the doctor.
But I okay, push back on that. Now I'm not red pilled on Medicare for all. I still want it. I'm just saying, I do think it's way easier to mandate a vaccine when you have subsidized healthcare, don't you think?
Well, it's interesting that this is the one thing that they're subsidizing and mandating, and none of the other shit, right?
But they think it's a gateway, the same way they thought lockdowns could get us communism. These people thought lockdowns were like, hey, general strike, communism, boom, boom, boom. We're doing that. So I'm just saying, I think a lot of people think that this, I could be wrong. And to me, nobody thinks that. And that's why
they love it, because it's a universal program.
Exactly. It's a gateway to maybe your diet, your insulin being free. This is so that's all I'm saying. It's way easier, because I think a lot of them would do it. I think a lot of these leftists, that the Bernie people, would do it, would say, hey, mandatory COVID vaccine and I get healthcare, Medicare for all.
For real.
I think they would do it. I'm asking, would you? You know what I mean? Like that, like for you, I want to hear your answer on this. Like what would you? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you see what I'm saying here.
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember, God, in the cringe days of, when I was like on the Chapo subreddit, right?
Not something like, I would admit personally.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, I'll admit it, man.
Own it, brother.
I was like, and I'm like, man, I'm really not like these people. They're all like shilling for vaccines and pharma in a weird way that like I know it's like, it's very inconsistent. I know these people are anti-capitalist or whatever, but they just, for some reason, they just believe in this untouchable sacred cow of pharma, and it's super weird. And this is pre-COVID, and I remember being like I'm not ever gonna be like these people. Like I'm way more fucking anti-pharma than I am leftist or whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like there are certain things.
But it is leftist to be anti-pharma.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. We know the truth. I agree with everything you guys are saying. I know the way these people think, and that's what I'm scared of.
Because
I could never Sorry,
go ahead.
No, I could never square that. I was just trying to figure out. I think it's part of that collectivist mentality of like but the negative side of it, right? Because we are all in it together, as like that's just like a trope that is true in some ways. But it's like, we're all in this together. We all need to get the same medical treatment. And the only thing that's wrong with Pfizer is it's not nationalized or whatever, which is such a hilariously naive take.
The only thing wrong with McDonald's is that not everybody can have it.
No ethical
Pfizer wouldn't be Pfizer if it was nationalized.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazon.
What's funny is
they want it all.
What's funny is
it's subsidized. Yeah.
It is nationalized, but just the reverse of it. It's like they are the government. Pfizer is the government. You know what I mean? So it's like the reverse of what.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like it's
they
insane.
can seize your military bases in Brazil if you want to.
Yeah.
But there's so much of the disease history and eradication of infectious diseases. Didn't the left and the progressive movement kind of play a big role in that, because of all the like labor movement, ending child labor, minimum wage, sanitation, the hygiene movement, regulating food, regulating the water supply?
So that,
I mean, wouldn't you credit the left wing?
We're not allowed to admit that those things led to better health outcomes, because I'm serious. It's like, I know it sounds crazy, but this is the big thing. And this is the big, I mean, if you really want to blow your mind with vaccines, anyone that's listening that's like, why are these people always talking about this shit? I don't know. The best book for me is Dissolving Illusions by Suzanne Humphries.
Yeah.
Who's a kidney nephrologist. incredibly brave woman, who did ask the question I posed earlier in the podcast, like, why aren't we ever allowed to criticize a vaccine failure? And that shit will blow. Like, I've always been skeptical of vaccines, and that's 100% research based medical literature, and it's that'll blow the lid off anything you're holding. So anyway, no, you're not. For some reason, we're not allowed to admit that because, and polio is the perfect example. It's not trying to get too deep in the weeds here or anything, but I mean, polio is such a we didn't eradicate it. Like it still exists. Like the disease that we would once called polio still exists in America.
It's here,
and in America, and of course, in the third world too, and everything. But things that we once would have called ventilators are being used on children in America. This is such a huge thing that is like, I'm not saying it's like the biggest disease ever or whatever, but just the way they redefine this shit, right, and how they obfuscated how, the paralysis, that there was a huge emphasis on it being a viral thing, right? Rather than there's a huge element to it being toxic pollution and DDT and stuff like that. There's a huge history to there. I'll try and see if we can link to that thread. There's a beautiful Twitter thread by some medical professional who breaks it down. But anyway, yeah, we're not allowed to discuss how, these leftist policies that stemmed from the labor movement and cleaned up the water, cleaned up everything else, led to arguably the greatest increase in human health in human history in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah.
So sorry, that was a long rant.
So no. I think what we're in conclusion, what we're getting at here is that we still want Medicare for all. I want Medicare for all. I want to be able to, like, if I break, a collarbone, I want to be able to get some treatment. I don't want to have to, do some crazy, like, God, I don't even know what the guy's name is from Bloodsport, like doing some crazy, like pop my stuff back into place. And Jean-Claude Van Damme. I don't want to have to do stuff like that. Like we understand that that's still a necessary thing in society. I'm just scared that, like, because Amy Therese had actually, and I have mixed feelings about Amy Therese, some of the stuff she says, but I thought she had a decent take that got absolutely killed. Is like, if you get Medicare for all under Joe Biden, like, it's gonna be these mandates. And like, that's what I'm scared of. It's like, obviously, if we had our choice of like our own, like, hey, like, build your own burger type thing with like government, like, absolutely, we could get a great medical system. I think all three of us could do it right now if we asked for it, if we did that. But my red pill is just like Medicare for all being like, okay, now you have to take this thing, and it's free. Don't worry about it. You're gonna take it. And that's what I'm scared of. Obviously, if I could build my society from scratch, I would be.
If I was king of the world, if I was God,
absolutely. But we're not. We live in a society, like, it's that, like,
these structures are so heavily in place that anything called Medicare for all today, or in the next 10 years or 50 years, even, which sucks, would be so unbelievably corrupt and evil.
Because look at every other slogan that got co-opted and got like obfuscated to where it means nothing. Like, look at Cori Bush now, what she's doing. Green New Deal, exactly. Defund the police. Cori Bush has private security on the steps of Capitol talking about defund the police, and she's gonna
that was a crazy clip.
Insane. I'll insert it in here, actually, in the thing. I'll insert it. Insane clip. She's like, I got private police. I got a Blackwater guy behind me. It's all good. Like she's like saying that. She's like, I'm scared because I'm sleeping on the steps of the Capitol in DC, which has a high crime rate. Like, I'm sitting out here like, it was a trip, dude. Like,
the thing, I won't let them get that off. You can't get that off. I'm going to make sure I have security, because I know I have had attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. There are too many people that need help right now for me to allow that. So if I end up spending $200,000, if I spend $10 more on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
Like, it was a trip. So that's all I'm saying is, like, we get in these huge philosophical debates. It was like, obviously, I want Medicare for all. I will never not want Medicare for all. I always want that. I'm scared right now under the current structure of America to where if Joe Biden said tomorrow in a, where it takes him 10 minutes to say 15 words.
Yeah.
If he said, well, we got Medicare for all, and that ends up happening, I'm scared of that. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm scared of that because that ends up meaning a shot in every person's arm, a jab.
Okay, unrelated. Did you see the clip with Biden where he was talking to Don Lemon? That's his name, right? The CNN guy.
Sure, yeah.
And he was like, you got vaccinated?
You got the vaccination?
Yeah.
Are you okay? I mean, you seem, no, it works. Or or the mom and dad, or the neighbor, or when you go to church.
Remember that?
Wait, Biden said it?
I actually didn't see that.
Wait, what like in that tone? He was like, wait, you actually got that shit?
Yeah.
I'm talking to Don, right? This isn't Brian Gumble, right? I'm talking to Don, right? Yeah.
Wait, you didn't get the saline? You didn't get the saline. Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Hey, if anybody has the line on saline, let me know.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to ramble for a really long time after that. It makes absolutely no sense. But the first part where he said, wait, you got vaccinated?
Donnie, my guy Donnie. You told me my Don Lemon got vaccinated.
Can you send that to us?
Yeah, you're gonna have to DM
Yeah,
that
please.
to me, please.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that in.
Yeah, send that to me. Yeah,
I'm gonna put that in post production.
That's funny.
I'll look
What
for
I
it.
love about the media and Biden is that they have some like $250,000 a year professional that like primes them on how to deal with Biden's dead spots. They're like, all right, he's gonna be fucking dumb as fuck, but you're gonna have to sit here and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like someone gets paid like multiple hundreds of thousands a year just to teach Don Lemon how to like cope. Okay.
Yeah, I was looking yesterday. I was looking for actually a different clip of Don Lemon talking about unvaccinated people, and I just typed in Google Don Lemon unvaccinated, and the Google results on the top were like, the results are changing rapidly, so it might not be updated to the most reliable sources.
Yo,
So
that shit, dude. The Twitter and Google and YouTube like qualifiers
So
are
I
so
think-
creepy.
yeah, it's also the tech company hasn't figured out a way to suppress these clips yet.
Yeah.
No, it's that's crazy because I actually, as plugged in as I am, I haven't seen that clip. That's hilarious. Yeah, I know. It's exactly. Well, that's about it for us. I think that's good. Alex, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
Third time. We'll have to do it again. You're definitely a fan favorite. Everybody loves when you have it on.
Yeah.
First guest ever. Everybody forgets. Anybody who hasn't
That's
listened to it for a long time. First guest ever.
My honor.
When Alex was just a teacher on the internet.
Just a teacher.
And this is your first podcast too. So like our first guest was yours.
Yes,
first.
actually, yes.
Damn.
This was my first interview ever.
Oh, I remember.
on.
I remember when we hit her
That's
up. She was
crazy.
like, "Let me check. Let me see if I can go on." And
Yeah.
I was like, "That's fine. Yeah, go ahead." She's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I was like, "Hey, what?" Yeah, all right. I was expecting like a no, I can't. I'm a teacher. What are you talking about? I was
Yeah.
expecting that. So
Living on the edge. So
yeah, living on the edge. So
Living-
you can follow her on Twitter at Galaxy Brain for now. I don't know by the time this episode comes out. I don't know if you can. It's Galax like Alex. So GALEXY and then BRANE. I want to say is how you do it. Spelling out loud's tough. People forget about that.
it's really hard.
But anyways, you could maybe can follow her there by the time this comes out. Twitter has definitely caught on to you, and do you have anything else? I mean, do you have any new pieces coming out or anything in the works?
Yeah, I'm working on some things, but
that's fine.
I'm not sure when they'll be out or who will run them.
Well, you'll find them through our feed if you follow the podcast. We'll definitely get it out to you guys. I'm at Glenn Rockney on Twitter. He's at CryptoSci. We're at RareCandy Pod 1. You'll notice our last episode might not be there, and don't worry about it. But things happened. But we got a lot more stuff to come. We're going to cover this COVID stuff. And then you can look for us on some other podcasts too. I was on Car Crash last week. That was a lot of fun. So if you're tired of hearing me talk about vaccines, you could hear me talking about just really, really dumb stuff on Car Crash. Shout out to our guy, Eddie. And that's it for us, guys. Thanks for everything.
Peace.
Thanks so much for having me. This was
Anytime.
really
You can
fun.
come on
Always a blast.
anytime. You can come on anytime.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks.
guys. Peace.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.